Reading Japanese knives at cutting sweet potatoes. If you followed our channel for any length of time, we really appreciate it, and you've probably seen us do this style of video where we pick a particular ingredient, a bunch of different Japanese knife shapes, and we rate those knife shapes depending on how well we think it performs at the particular task. You've probably also noticed that most people disagree with us. So today we thought we'd do a longer form video showing you our sort of behind the scenes insight or thought process on how we come up with those ratings so that you can once again disagree with us in the comment section. We're going to follow the same order of knives that we used in the short form video that we did, starting off with the CCK Kau Kong bone cleaver. So as you probably notice here, like this knife is still performing relatively well. It's maybe a little tough to see in the video here, but it is sort of sliding out to the right a little bit here. And that's just because this knife is, you know, not super meant to be cutting nice thin slices of sweet potato. It's actually doing quite a good job right now. But why we gave this guy a 3 out of 10 rather than a 10 out of 10, for instance, is mostly to do with the blade geometry, right? This guy's really thick behind the edge, so while it does still perform pretty well, it's not going to go through nearly as well as a Gyuto would go through this. We make the shorts for educational but also entertainment purposes, and yeah, they are a little bit rage baity, I'm not gonna lie. But 3 out of 10, I'm gonna grab this cleaver if there is a Gyuto handy, and 10 out of 10, if both of these knives are available, I'm gonna grab the Gyuto. So that's why we gave this guy a 3 out of 10. Doesn't mean it's like terrible at cutting sweet potatoes, but if you have another knife shape like a Gyuto available, I would highly recommend not using your bone cleaver to cut sweet potato. Yeah, and when we're doing these thin slices, it gives you the sense that it's doing really well, and it is to a certain extent. But if we're going through like the whole thing, it's a little bit more difficult. And if I'm not, you know, timid about it and I frickin' give her, then yeah, it's gonna do pretty well. But it's just not. It's just, you know, it works, but it's just not as good as the 10 out of 10 Gyuto is gonna be. Moving on. Next up, the world's sharpest butter knife. We had a comment that was asking us, when was the first appearance of the world's sharpest butter knife? Quite a while ago. We sharpened this guy up all the way. We went through the full progression of the Naniwa Pro stones all the way up to 10K, and then I shaved my face with it. I feel like this is, I mean, at least should be the one that requires the least explanation. It is very difficult to use. It's a very short, like as in terms of like blade height, blade, so it doesn't have the greatest geometry. It's you know, as you can see, not going through super well. Maybe even 1 out of 10 was a little generous. Maybe we should have went like frickin' 0 out of 10 on this guy, because yeah, like when I'm doing those thin slices, it's okay, but you know, you try to take a big chunk like that, and it was like almost impossible. So yeah, moving on. Next up is the Nakiri. We gave this a 7 out of 10, and this is probably where we got the most disagreement in the comment section, and you know what, totally justified, I totally understand it. 7 out of 10, I should say, is not a bad score, right? Like you see this guy performs really, really well, but we have to leave some room to give the knives that we feel perform better at this particular task room for a better score. So 7 out of 10 is still a great score. Why we gave it a 7 and not, you know, a 10 out of 10 is just because of its length, right? The longer the blade, the longer stroke you're going to be able to make, which is really going to help, especially cutting through you know, hard, dense ingredients like this sweet potato here. So yeah, not to say that this is bad by any means. Like obviously it performs really, really well at this. But again, if I have this Nakiri or any other Nakiri and I have a larger Gyuto, I'm going to use the larger Gyuto to cut the sweet potato because in my personal preference, it just feels much easier to do. Now, having done this again and talking through it, I maybe could have been a little more generous with our score. Maybe an 8 or even an 8.5 would have been a better representation of how this knife is performing. But you know what? Such is life, right, man? You make mistakes. Maybe I didn't judge this guy appropriately for our video, and for that, I truly apologize. Moving on to the Bunka, we gave this one a 7 out of 10 as well. Similar to the Nakiri, I don't know why I said it that way, the Nakiri, the Nakiri, we got some disagreement in the comments on this guy. Many people thought that the Bunka should have gotten a better score, and yeah, maybe you're right. Someone made a comment that this is really more about edge geometry than it is about the particular knife shape that we were rating, and I would totally agree with that. But what you learn when you've used as many knives as I have, just through testing all these testing all these knives for our videos, is that the shorter knives, generally speaking, of course, whenever I speak in generalities, people lose their minds, but generally speaking, a shorter knife like a Bunka is going to have a less tall blade, and it's going to be shorter in length. And what that means is, generally speaking, that the knife is not going to be quite as thin behind the edge as, say, a larger Gyuto, which is going to impact the usability on these sort of harder, more dense ingredients. And then again, like just the fact that it's not as long means you're not going to be as able to use as much lateral motion when you're cutting a sweet potato. So again, like a 7 out of 10 is a great score. Dave Portnoy gives a pizza shop a 7 out of 10, and there's a line out the door. So I wasn't trying to like be mean to the Bunka by giving it a 7 out of 10. Maybe similar to the Nakiri, I could have been a little more generous, going like 8, 8.5, 9 maybe. So once again, if I offended you, I apologize. Moving on. Okay, last up we have the Kenshiro Hatono 215 millimeter Kiritsuke style Gyuto. We gave this guy a 10 out of 10. And I stand by that. This is, I mean, like it's not always easy to get across like how easy it is to slice something in a video, but you'll just have to take my word for it. This thing is just melting right through this sweet potato. So I personally believe that it is fully justified to give this guy a 10 out of 10. As we've sort of stated already to this point in the video, that you know, a lot of this has to do more with blade geometry rather than the exact shape we're using. And again, I would agree with that. But this particular Gyuto has fantastic edge geometry. And once again, speaking in generalities here, a longer knife is going to have more favorable blade geometry for this particular task. It's going to be longer, it's going to be taller, which means the transition from spine into cutting edge is going to be a little more gradual. And that more gradual transition from spine to cutting edge is what really makes cutting a sweet potato much, much easier. Oh, and I say that, now I'm stuck. Okay, there we go. So yeah, it goes through like butter if you're not being timid, right? Yeah, cuts super, super easily. Hatono-san's coming to visit us soon, so we're really excited about that. I promise you that had no bearing on what rating we gave this knife. We would have given it a 10 out of 10 for sweet potato no matter what. But he's going to be doing a little forging demonstration one day, and then he's going to be in our shop doing some kanji engraving for anyone who decides to pick up one of his knives while he's here during his visit. You can get your name or something else engraved onto your knife. And yes, of course, there are Gyutos that may not have performed super well at this. Like, not every Gyuto is super laser thin behind the edge, so there are going to be certain Gyutos that don't perform super well at cutting sweet potatoes. But when we're making a 60-second short, it's kind of impossible to write every single Gyuto ever on cutting sweet potatoes, but in general, a larger Gyuto like this is going to perform really well. So thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to hear why you guys still disagree with us in the comment section. And if you're around the Kitchener-Waterloo area on the 17th of September, you want to come check out a forging demo from Hatono-san, we'd love to see you there. And he will be at our shop either in Hamilton or Etobicoke, haven't decided yet, on the 20th of September. So thank you so much for watching. Stay sharp.